All right, now we're going to look at triggers for headaches. Now, those that are suffering from migraines, you probably already know some of your triggers. Okay? Who again suffers from migraines? Migraines, you're taking Excedrin, so muscle tension, migraine sometimes? When you were pregnant. Okay. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to go over the, quickly, we're going to go over 10 different very common triggers for headaches. First one is strong scents. And what happens with strong scents, or even certain types of smells, the way our body processes that actually can trigger a headache. Who has a scent that causes them a headache? Anybody?
I guess like a real strong perfume. Strong
perfume. Mm-hmm. Candles, very common. So there's a lot of perfume in candles. Different type of cleaning products. Who gets a headache after cleaning? Anybody? After cleaning? Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And so we might not say it was from the fumes. It might say, oh yeah, I did some housework and I had a headache. Well, you can investigate it and you might find that some of the reason for that is because you had something with a strong smell. Skipping meals. The drop in blood sugar that happens can cause a headache. Very, very common. Anybody get headaches here from skipping meals? No? Sometimes? Okay, then you want to check the box under blood sugar headache. Okay? It's under other. Cold cuts. In processed foods, there's a couple of key additives. One is called a nitrate. And a nitrate is very, very common in cold cuts. And if you go out to a certain type of place and you have a sandwich with cold cuts on it, and you find 30 or 40 minutes later that you're getting a headache. Has anybody ever had experienced that? Anybody know? Does anybody know if there's a certain food that they eat that causes a headache? Think about it. Okay. As we get further into the workshop, we're going to go over a headache journal, and that's going to be really important. So nitrate's very common. Hair accessories. Okay, who's got the hairdo headache? Who gets that one? You do? Okay. You don't? Yeah. Well, the first thing you need is hair. Yeah. Sometimes. Yeah. Yep. Very common. Work stress. Stress is reported as the most common factor precipitating headaches. Is stress. Okay. Cheese. Cheese has tyramine in it, and tyramine is a big culprit like nitrates that cause headache, and it's found in foods that are aged. Okay, and the older the aging of the cheese, the more tyramine it has in it, and the more it can cause a headache. Okay, smoking, of course, contains nicotine, and of course the smell can give you a headache. Plus the nicotine is actually another central nervous system stimulant that can cause vascular dilation. Okay, so just like when I was drinking a lot of coffee and I stopped drinking coffee, I no longer had that caffeine effect on my vessels. So what type of headache would somebody get if they stopped smoking? What structure you think would be affected?
Definitely the vascular side.
Vascular, right, exactly. Okay. Now, in addition to that, of course, if you stop smoking, you don't take nicotine, you might want to kill somebody, so it might be muscle tension as well, okay? Red wine. Red wine also contains that tyramine, and again, the more aged it is, the more tyramine it could have, and the more it causes a headache. But also with alcohol, alcohol dehydrates us, and it's very common to have dehydration headaches as well. Posture, and we're going to look into this a little bit more deeply. Posture causes an increase in pressure in certain structures of the neck, and we're going to dig very deep into posture in just a few minutes. Who notices headaches after sitting on the computer for a while? Do? Yeah, just about all of us. Yep, very, very common. And then my old favorite was caffeine. And again, caffeine, a strong vascular influence. And drinking caffeine over a long period of time can be a chronic thing to cause headaches. So just on this headache trigger list, we have 10 very common causes for headaches. So again, a lot of causes, a lot of reasons for headaches, making headaches the number one reason why somebody would take what? Over-the-counter medication. Okay? So overcoming your headaches for good, and I want you to get this, overcoming your headaches for good is directly related to your awareness of your headache triggers. Okay? So awareness of your headache triggers and disciplining yourself to avoid those triggers. Okay? So as we're continuing along today's workshop, really one of the things I want to arm you with is the knowledge and the education so that you can be aware of noticing the things that cause you headaches. So awareness is really critical. Okay? So we'll get into this a little bit deeper when we talk about the headache journals, but being aware that certain things could cause you a headache is very important. All right, food dyes. Okay? There are over 3,000 different chemicals that are added to our food source as we process our foods. Now, some of these additives have never been tested, okay? And there are many of them that are common headache triggers. Number one I have over here, here's a certain type of candy. I won't say what it is, but this particular candy contains a whole bunch of different food dyes. But if you look at the back of your foods that you're taking in, yellow dye number 5, red dye number 3 and number 40, and blue dye number 1 and number 2, very, very common causes for headaches. Okay? I had a patient that her son would get chronic headaches, and he was about maybe about 12 or 13. And he would get headaches about 20 minutes after eating Doritos. And we found out that he had an allergy to red dye number 40. Very, very common. You stop red dye number 40, not only get headaches, but he had ADHD. And that was one of the things that really made him hyper-irritable. So this one right here is a big deal. We can do a 12-hour workshop just on food additives and what they do to the body. Another one is aspartame. You know, it's a big one. It's found in a lot of different products, thousands and thousands of products. And probably the most known headache-causing additive would be MSG. $20 for anybody that knows what MSG stands for.
Monosodium glutamate.
Very good. Very good. Excellent.